So talk a little bit about the third quarter and also about the fourth quarter in economic terms. I mean, we've had four pretty big unknowns this year, big events that have hit all in one year, all in 2020, which is really unusual to have this many major things. We had a presidential election, a recession, of course, the global pandemic, and then all this continued unrest and protesting throughout the world, or mostly the United States. We've had single events over the years, but never so many in one year. And that has really impacted the markets. It's impacted the economy. You saw the recession in the first and second quarter. And then in the third quarter, we're seeing projections of the economy coming back at 35%. That's a huge uptick from where we were. And of course, we're starting from a very low bottom. But I'll talk a little bit about the four events sort of independently and how I feel they're impacting the markets and what could happen in the future. So we have the presidential election in a little more than 29 days. That unknown is going to get cleared up. The race, it seems like Biden has an edge, but everything's close to call, and I don't think it's going to be an election that goes beyond election night. I think there'll be a clear victory one way or the other. Right now, Biden has only a 3.8-point lead in the battleground states, and I don't know if that's enough to cover the so-called hidden or silent Trump vote, but I think we'll have a decision one way or another on election day. But between now and then, we're going to continue to get temporary twists and turns, like President Trump getting COVID-19. That was something completely unexpected, along with the unexpected of an election. So the recession, as I said, from the first and second quarter and the third quarter projections are much higher. But how we have dealt with that, Jay Powell that's the chairman of the Fed, has thrown everything at this recession, all the tools in their toolbox, and they've done it significantly faster and larger than they did in the global financial crisis of 2008, which was a really big deal. But this time the Fed learned from that, and they said, we're going to do a lot more, a lot quicker. And I think that has had a big impact on the markets. And Jay Powell has been very transparent and clear about how they're going to deal with the markets and deal with the recession. And the last thing they want to do is shock the market. So I think we're going to have a Fed that is very responsive to economic concerns. Further, we have Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin working on another stimulus package. That's every day. That's an item. They aren't on and off again all weekend. Right now, it looks like anywhere from $1.5 to $2.2 trillion. That could be the stimulus package, and that could be more money in consumers' pockets. And if you look at consumer savings right now, it's actually at a record high, $20 trillion in cash, savings, and money market accounts. That's $20 trillion sitting on the sidelines. And remember, the consumer makes up about 65% of the economy. So that's a large piece of the economy that's sitting there waiting for something to do. And I think that is a large part of what we're going to see in the fourth quarter and into 2021. What happens in the election, what results are we going to see, and where the consumer goes from there. The COVID-19 pandemic, that's been a crazy unknown that we've happened. It's truly a black swan event. That's an event so rare that you're not able to predict it in financial markets. So no one was able to predict or believe that the entire world would shut down for a period of months at a time. This is not something that you can predict. And I think going forward, it's going to continue to throw curveballs at the market. Right now, there's several vaccines in this testing phase. That is a record. If we could have a vaccine within a year of the pandemic, that will be, the average vaccine takes about 4 years. So we're well ahead of that. A solution to the pandemic could have a big impact on the markets, or if they continue to fizzle with the vaccine and nothing happens, we continue to have a drag on the market. So that's one that's not easily explained or easily planned for. I think the unrest and protests that we've seen, they have rattled the markets at times, but I believe that the election is going to have an impact on that one way or another. I'm not sure how, but I think the election will help with that.